Hey folks, this is Gabe, Security Baron, and today we're checking out a new marsupial in the home security market, the Kangaroo Motion and Entry Sensor Home Security System. In today's review of the Kangaroo Motion and Entry Sensor Home Security System, we're going to go over some pros and cons, the feature set, installation experience, professional monitoring options, customer support before finally diving into the mobile application, the Kangaroo app, to make sure you have all the information you need to make the right decision. If you want to see a list of our favorite home security systems, Google Security Baron Best Home Security Systems. If you have a question about today's review, leave us a comment and I'll get back to you. Let's kick off today's review of the Kangaroo Motion and Entry Sensor Home Security System by talking about some pros and cons, beginning with the pros. Now, when you're installing it, it's a really easy process because it's just powered off 2 AA batteries and it's hubless, so you're ready to go within 5 minutes of downloading the app and opening up the box. On top of that, it has a very affordable professional monitoring service. Now on the con side, it's a bit limited in that it only detects motion and entry from any of the doors and windows where you have one of the sensors placed. On top of that, it doesn't have cellular backup, so if your power goes out, you have no Wi-Fi, you're basically going to be defenseless as it will not be able to get you a notification. Now that we've gone over the pros and cons for the Kangaroo Motion and Entry Sensor Home Security System, let's talk about the feature set. Now the feature set kind of reflects the components themselves. That is pretty minimal. You'll note here that you just have this entry sensor and this motion sensor, and that's it. I mean, there's no hub. They directly connect to your Wi-Fi. On top of that, there are 2 AA batteries built into the motion detector, which can last up to a year. Which is pretty impressive. So basically you can set it up and forget about it for a year. Now in terms of their capacity, the motion detector can see up to 20 feet with a 110-degree field of view. And once you place these together, they'll note whenever your door has been opened or your window has been closed. And one thing I'm actually pretty impressed that they've been able to accomplish here is the ability to have pet sensitivity. So as long as your pet is not above 2 feet and 4 inches tall, it should be able to run around to its heart's content without giving you a barrage of notifications throughout the day. So you have those impressive elements with your Kangaroo Motion and Entry Sensor Home Security System. Let's talk about the installation experience with your Kangaroo Motion and Entry Sensor. Now it's pretty straightforward. You're going to download the Kangaroo app, input some cursory information, and then you're just going to go to add a new device. It'll ask you what you're adding. We put Motion and Entry Sensor, and then you're going to pull the yellow tab in your motion sensor when it tells you to do so. From there, they will sync. You'll get a little blink on the motion sensor itself, and then it walks you through actually installing the system in your home. So you decide if you want to put it on a door or a window. We went with a door, and then it's interesting in that it tells you to actually place this sensor between 4 feet 3 inches on your wall and 4 feet 9 inches, which is a little bit lower than we're used to seeing. Now, once you've put it in place, it actually will test the system for you. So you can open your door or your window and you can walk around to make sure that the motion detector is actually picking you up. So we really like the fact that it's pretty thorough in the installation process, so you don't have to think about it again later. So overall, the installation process is pretty straightforward. Now, one thing you'll note about the Kangaroo motion sensor is that yes, it has all the elements. Your sensor is here, your magnet is here, but there's also a Kangaroo button. You see a little kangaroo. And this is actually how you can bypass the system if you're in your home and it's armed, you want to know when doors and windows are being opened, but you need to go through a particular door. So you can actually press here and it gives you a short window of time to open that door. And then you get a 1-minute grace period essentially to conduct whatever business you have. So there's really more to the home security system than what you get in the app. You can actually physically use the system. So that's something we found pretty interesting about Kangaroo in particular. So that's our look at the installation experience for Kangaroo Motion and Entry Sensor. Hold on, I hope you're enjoying today's review of the Kangaroo motion and entry sensor home security system. If you want to be kept up to date on the newest in smart home security systems, VPNs, password managers, smart bulbs, and a host of other devices, subscribe to our channel, Security Baron. We're dropping new content weekly. All right, let's get back to the video. Now that we've got our Kangaroo motion and entry sensor home security system set up, let's talk about the professional monitoring options. Now, professional monitoring is very important. It gives you that extra layer of security in case something is actually going wrong. They can alert the proper authorities and get them to your home. Now, we typically like to see cellular backup coupled with professional monitoring in case your power is cut. You don't want to be vulnerable in that situation. Now, while they do not have cellular backup, Kangaroo does have professional monitoring. And the professional monitoring takes two forms. You can buy it monthly for $9 a month or for a year, saving pretty much a lot of money for $60 a year. So you're not locked in necessarily, but you do have those two options. Now, the distinction between the basic or no professional monitoring and the professional monitoring are actually pretty significant. You can get text and voice notifications, along with Alexa integration, and of course, the fact that they'll actually call the proper authorities to your home if they do not get that safety word from you on the phone. So it's pretty useful to have the professional monitoring with Kangaroo, and we think that they give you some pretty affordable options for making it a reality. Let's take a look at the customer support for Kangaroo motion and entry sensor home security system. Now, they give you a lot of options to get in touch with them. So of course you have your online FAQ. They can probably answer a lot of your questions there. But if that's not enough, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can live chat them, you can call them. A lot of that you can do right there in the app. They will call you. You can just hit call me, they'll call you. You can go to chat, get a live chat going on, or you can just email them and probably get an answer back within 24 hours. So overall, they're really bringing a lot to the table, put a lot of thought and effort into making sure you get your questions answered. Now, don't just take our word for it, because online people seem to really enjoy it. Of the reviews that we read that specifically mentioned customer support, a little bit shy of 70% of them were positive. So overall, the customer support for Kangaroo seems to be pretty great. Now I want to jump into the mobile application for the Kangaroo motion and entry sensor home security system, the Kangaroo app. This is where the rubber hits the road, where you're going to be interfacing with your home security system and just making sure everything is hunky-dory. And people seem to appreciate that experience on both iPhones and Androids. In the Google Play Store, it has a 4 out of 5 star rating, and in the Apple App Store, it has a striking 4.9 out of 5 star rating. So let's go ahead and check it out on my iPhone. Here I am checking out the mobile application for the Kangaroo motion and entry sensor home security system. Now you see here at the top it says Security Baron, home is disarmed, disarmed by Security Baron, and right smack dab in the middle you have your three most important, let's say, settings for your home security system. The far left is the unlocked locked icon. In the middle you have the person side of a home, and on the far right you have the locked locked. And each three of these icons represents a different setting. So right now we're disarmed, but let's go ahead and arm this system, just the doors and windows. Now we're gonna go ahead and open the door to see what that looks like. And I will just go ahead and tell you that it is a not insignificant delay when it comes to letting you know. It's about a 15-second delay. There you go. Now it says security alert, and now I can dismiss and disarm, or I can just dismiss. I can call 911, but it did say open detected at 11:13 a.m. So I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss that. Now you see that it still says open. It's gonna take a moment for it to say, there it is now. Now it says that the close has been detected. So every time there is a change in state of your entry sensor, it will let you know when your system is armed for the doors and windows. So we have this on our front door. Now let's go ahead and say dismiss and disarm. So now this is off completely. Now if we wanted to arm the system for motion detection and doors and windows, we'd go to the far right icon, we'd click on there, and now it says home is arming. Now you may note right there in the middle, it says home will arm in 4 minutes and 51 seconds. That's because it takes 5 minutes for the system to arm, giving you plenty of time to get out of the house, make sure you have your shoes on. You could probably, make some ramen noodles, eat it. You'd be ready to go in the time it takes the Kangaroo system to arm. So let's go ahead and hit disarm, stop that process. And that's what you have right there in terms of the main feature set for the motion and entry sensor in the Kangaroo home security system. Now, moving on to what you see below those 3 main icons, you see Kangaroo Baron, which is what we named the motion sensor home security system. And I can click there and you just see the device name. I can change the device name if I wanted to. If I want to say Kangaroo Baroness, I can change the device location. So you have attic, back door, back entryway, bathrooms 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you have more than 4 bathrooms, I think you may have problems that I'd like to have. But let's go beyond that. We have voice notification, text notification. You can see your battery life. And one thing to note here is that they do tell us that the second wave of batteries, once your first batteries die with your Kangaroo motion and entry sensor, will actually last even longer. Now, the last thing you'll note is it says device Wi-Fi signal, so we have a strong signal, and it lets you know that you can remove the sensor and warns you that this action cannot be undone. So below that, you have add a security device. This is the last thing we'll touch on for the home page. This allows you to add other motion sensors, other motion and entry sensors, and they do have sirens and a climate sensor coming out in the future, and you can be sure that Security Baron will give those a run through as soon as they come out. So let's go ahead and move on to settings. Now you'll see on the bottom right, you have that gear icon for settings. I've tapped on it and now I see the different settings. So you have a really, honestly, nice, clear display in the Kangaroo app. You kind of know exactly what you're getting from the get-go. They spent some serious time making it an intuitive experience. I can invite other users to have access to the Kangaroo app. In the top right corner, my home address. I can have a safety word, and I can look at my plan. Now we have the Kangaroo Complete plan, billed at $5 a month. You get it yearly. And let's go ahead and go back. You have the different integrations. So right now it does integrate with the Amazon Virtual Assistant, and they state that Google Home and IFTTT are coming soon. And if I look at the device management, you'll see that I can actually change it to battery saver mode, which will actually increase that arming time, which is already a pretty lengthy 5 minutes to an entire 10 minutes. You can also go through and look at your system notifications. So you can get, of course, the in-app push notification, text notifications, voice notifications. And then if you really want to, you can turn on contacting authorities. Now, this is a pretty, intense, not intense, but this is an element of the professional monitoring. So it says if you do not respond to the follow-up call from our monitoring agents, authorities will be contacted and sent to your home, and you can create a safety word. So let's say my safety word will be security. And so this was what they'll use as your safety word when they call you in order to verify your identity. So that's an important element with any professional monitoring system. Let's go ahead and knock this out. Turn it on, turn it off for now. And those are the options you have in settings. The final tab that I want to show you is the bottom left where it says support. And here you see the customer support options. It says skip the line, let us call you. So we'll just call your line directly. You can message the support team, which is pretty great that you have the ability to live chat from 9 to 9 Eastern time. And you can just go visit their FAQ section just to maybe not have to talk to someone and find the answers to your questions. As you can see, the resources and effort that they have put into this customer support tab in the mobile application just reflects the general consideration they seem to have put into making the app experience both intuitive and useful. All right, we've broken down the Kangaroo motion and entry sensor home security system, but you're trying to see if it's the right thing for you in your home. home. And I'll say this, it is a minimalist system that gets your motion and entry requirements covered while also offering an affordable and flexible professional monitoring option. Now, if you're someone who wants a more comprehensive system or cellular backup, you're going to want to look somewhere else. Kangaroo is not going to provide that. But for $30, you can jump aboard this startup's first foray into the home security market. So that concludes our review of the Kangaroo motion and entry sensor home security system. If you appreciated today's video, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. As always, this is Gabe with Security Baron. Be secure.